What we want to do is play green, okay? And that's being us. And that's being us to the best version of us, right? Full speed, let's go, okay? And so I think there's a fair amount of work with people to get them to that spot. A lot of trust that's got to occur.
Welcome to a Quickcast episode of the Coaching Coordinator Podcast. Today, we take a clip from Lawrence First and Goal Clinic with Dave Aranda and lessons for a first-year head coach. In this segment, which we've focused on, he talks about the pyramid that he uses at Baylor. And in this first section, he's going to talk about the base of the pyramid, which is trust, transparency, communication, always learning and growing, ownership mindset, focus, and shared commitment. The link to the entire talk will be shared in the show notes.
This pyramid is something that I talk to the team when I meet with them weekly here in this off season, and then it's about every day once we get into it. Okay, and so if you look below, the bottom part of that is the base of the pyramid, is the biggest piece, right? That is where the most work is, right? The foundation, starting with trust and transparency on one corner, and it ends over there with a shared commitment, everybody being all in. Right? I got your back. You got mine. Right? We're going to find a way or make a way. That trust is the glue. Trust is an everyday thing. We talk about communication, about listening to understand, right? And not listening to respond. And I know for me, the communication is the hardest piece for me. And just being a private person. And so I really have to work hard in communications. If I've got something, who needs to hear it? Right? And who can help me get that out, right? With just the various levels of administration and support staff that we have here, right? These next two are really dear to my heart. And I've always seen this in coaching, and it's always been a big part of just my career. Really, I would start with the ownership mindset, is that it's important to own it. Both at the end of it and then the beginning. Whatever you're getting into, own it, man, right? Be all in with it, right? And make it your own. You got to know who you are for that to happen, right? Make it your own and own it, right? And so that you can see your part or your place in any success or failure, okay? And when we get to those failure things, you have the opportunity to really learn and grow. Right. And so you don't get learning and growing, I don't feel, if you don't own it. And so the learning and growing are you a knower or are you a learner? And just being around coaches, I think what a great opportunity to study that. You know, the knower is someone that defends. The knower is someone that says, you know, this is how it is and this is how it's always going to be. And, you know, their ego is right in the middle of that knowledge and they're defending it, and both feet are in the ground and they're not budging, right? The learner is somebody that's open to new ideas, right? That their ego is in trying to always get better, right? And finding new ways. And so the opportunity to be a learner, right? And to not fall in the trap of the knower, right? And the defender, I think is really strong. The focus, we talked about front sight focus. And so as opposed to like a shotgun where your focus will go, think of the shells just working all in a scattered approach right here. So we want to be here on the front sight, right? Whereas I'm knocking one thing down at a time, here to here to here to here. That type of focus in a process, hitting them down. And we get a shared commitment where everybody's all in.
In the remainder of this Quickcast, Coach Aranda talks about the other 4 levels of the pyramid. So the next one is the 3 rules. Then he talks about win with character. Better people make better players. The next section is energy, edge, and execution. And the top of the pyramid is standard of performance, which he covers in this next section.
You know, the 3 rules for us is to protect the team, number 1, and that's on the field and off the field, right? If we have a hit, that we could take a cheap shot on a guy in practice, we're not going to do it. If there's a chance to protect your team at night and not go to this place or not do this thing, we'd like to do that. Okay, be early is the second rule. And so I think that is a mindset, whether that's class or that's football meetings or that's appointments, that's showing respect to the other person, right? And that's just a way of life, right? That's showing respect to yourself. And then no whining, no complaining, no excuses is the last one. And that's that self-talk, right? As opposed to being a critic, you want to be a coach and have an inner coach telling you positive things, and be mindful of that self-talk. What we say is who we become. The win with character, better people make better players, is really at the core of it. We're working on some character values. You see it below. And the energy, edge, and execution, the energy is everything, man. Energy is a focused energy, right? Energy is a mindset. Is coming in with the right view and the right sense of energy for whatever we're attacking, whether it's a meeting, right? Whether it's a practice, whatever it is. The edge is the chip on your shoulder. The edge is I'm going to be in a fight, right? I just watched the UFC fight earlier today. I caught the end of it. Max Holloway and I forget the other fellow's name. Right. The thing about cage fighters, you get in that cage, they know they're going to get hit, and they know that someone's going to have to peel them off that dude because they're going to go all the way to the end. And that's the edge. Okay. And so I think that is built through sacrifice and hard work. Execution is that last piece. If you look at any competitor, right, that's out there, they execute, man. Right. And so no matter the lights are on, no matter no one's in the gym with them, it doesn't matter where it is, right? It's about execution. The Baylor Standard of Performance is to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued. Give it your best shot, man. No matter where it's at, right? Give it your best shot, right? If it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, you're swinging. Okay, we ain't going up looking to take a walk. Okay. And so I think when you talk about just interaction, right, families, you talk about people that can be themselves, people that can share who they really are when they're around their family, right? Our goal for the team is to be able to have that type of feeling here where you can let yourself be seen, and all that armor that you carry around kind of holding, protecting you, but really kind of hiding you goes away. And so I think when you have that, man, now you're free, right? And just all of the specific characteristics that make you you, right, is what makes us us. And we want that. Let's see it, right? That would be the Baylor Standard of Performance. We talk about that playing green. And so if you think of like a stoplight, for instance, playing green is when it's full speed and you're going, right? And so like here, like yellow would be timid, cautious. You got self-doubt. Okay. And so the brake is on, right? If you're a coach, okay, and you're on a new staff and things are going on and it's maybe not what we did last year, or maybe it's not what you did, a couple of years ago, and you're kind of going, I don't know. I'm just going to kind of see how this goes, right? That would be playing yellow or coaching yellow. If I'm a player, I'm going, I don't really know. I kind of feel this. I kind of feel like I know this, but then I don't. I'm just going to kind of dip my toe in and kind of see what the temperature is before we really get going. That would be playing yellow. All right. That timid, cautious, that self-doubt just holds you back. If it's a red light is when you're broke. Okay. A red light is when there's arguments on the sideline. Right. The red light is, for a lot of us now, it's transfer portal, and a red light is crack ups upstairs in the staff rooms where I've been holding stuff in and now I'm just broke. Okay, I'm gonna let it all out. What we want to do is play green. Okay, and that's being us, and that's being us to the best version of us. Right, full speed. let's go. Okay. And so I think there's a fair amount of work with people to get them to that spot. A lot of trust that's got to occur. So greatness is inherent in everyone. We want to coach that gap, right? Close the gap, man, right? Find the positive stuff, emphasize that, and then whatever level they're at, let's get to that level and let's work on them so that we can build them up. And so what this would be for us, like, there's not a walk-on player and there's not a scholarship player. There's a Baylor football player, okay? Like, there would be no blaming of the players. There would be no saying we need to get, this or that at this position, okay? This is this particular player that we got, right? I'm going to work on his weaknesses because his strengths are going to be our strength once we get him to where he's confident and believing in himself. That would be the view there.
Thank you again for listening to the Coaching Coordinator Podcast. Again, the entire clinic is linked in the show notes, along with links to the entire Lawrence First and Goal library, which has an incredible amount of content and courses from the coaches who delivered at that clinic. With much of the country in season now, whether that's spring ball or their actual spring season, we've kept our episodes a little bit shorter. We have some longer form interviews, more of the half-hour variety coming up soon. Follow all we do at coachandcoordinator.com and follow me on Twitter at Coach K. Grabowski.